We all know who Sandra Jansen is, don't we? She's the PC MLA for Calgary-North. She claims to be a conservative, but routinely attacks conservatives for being so conservative. Now let's talk about Jansen's judgment. She was a Redford loyalist. Just watch.
There are a lot of politicians who really never answer questions when asked. That's one of the things I love about Alison Redford, is she listens carefully and thoughtfully. That's the kind of leader I want in my province, and that's the kind of leader I think we have in Alison Redford.
And Jansen hates actual conservatives, going on tirades that get huge cheers from only the NDP benches and embarrassing her fellow caucus mates. Seriously, look at Richard Godfrey and Rick McIver's faces in this clip. Watch.
The right people are intent on making us relive a political issue that was dealt with in the 1930s by the Social Credit Party. The right people can help you decide who to talk to and who not to talk to. Like, for heaven's sake, do not talk to B-list reporters.
Oh, and Jansen likes carbon taxes, saying they're like Christmas presents. Here.
I want to take a moment to, as well under 29-2A, to thank the member for Calgary Mountain View for fighting for a carbon tax and fighting for the environment all these years. And I think it's got to feel especially bittersweet to get to a point where there finally is a plan and the plan doesn't measure up. It's like waiting 20 years for Christmas, and then when it finally comes, you open the present and there's nothing inside.
But who can even afford Christmas next year with no jobs and all these extra taxes? Jansen also campaigned for Liberal MP Kent Hare during last year's federal election. As you can see in these pictures, Jansen even went out door knocking with him. Oh, and Jansen says she wants to leave the PC party if an actual conservative, like Jason Kenney, gets elected to lead the PCs. Now, that sounds more like a bribe to get people like me to vote for Jason Kenney, rather than some sort of threat. But anyhow, Jansen's latest is a bit much, even for Sandra. She says she's fine with the makeup of the Oil Sands Advisory Group. Now that group is stacked to the rafters with anti-oil, anti-Alberta radicals from all four corners of the far left-wing environmental movement, including the co-chair, Tzeporah Berman. She was a co-founder of Forest Ethics, the anti-oil, anti-pipeline organization who has campaigned against every single pipeline coming out of Alberta. Berman even called Fort Mac Mordor. You can learn more about Berman at fireberman.ca and sign our petition asking Rachel Notley to just get rid of her. But Berman isn't the only enviro nut on the panel. Tim Gray from Environmental Defense also sits in this group. He's campaigned to block the Kinder Morgan pipeline expansion and Energy East. Another member of this group, Karen Mann, worked at Greenpeace and now Stand. Both organizations are being sued by Resolute Forest Products for racketeering, defamation, and malicious lies about that company. But according to Sandra Jansen, this panel is A-OK with her. She tweeted, "The more diverse the panel, the better the opportunity to get it right. I'm glad we are welcoming opposing views." So stacking the panel with people to act as NDP proxies to say no to pipelines and approvals so Rachel Notley doesn't have to get her hands dirty is opposing views. Jansen is glad all those anti-oil wackadoodles are on the panel because she trusts those people to get it right. She said so. Can we just note that this is the only time Jansen welcomes opposing views, because she sure doesn't want any opposing views like those of Jason Kenney in her very own party. Sandra Jansen is taking the Trudeau Liberals' approach to resource development, as in, let's have no development at all by putting activists in charge of the agenda. But that seems about right because we know Jansen is a Trudeau Liberal. She might say that's a good thing, but it seems dishonest in a party that brands itself as conservative. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.